The following is a presentation of RMG Sports, award-winning championship television.
Branson, Missouri is known around the world for its award-winning dining and entertainment. Today, new awards in Branson will be handed out as Powerboat Nationals is set to crown its 2021 champions on Racer H2O. Race fans, welcome to Branson Landing in Branson, Missouri, where champions will be crowned at the final round of Powerboat Nationals running of the 2021 Branson Grand Prix Series. Hello again, everyone. Jared Roomsberg here with our new team member, Josh Grisham, the rest of the Racer H2O crew, and thousands of the best fans in all of racing as we are ready to hand out some hardware. Before we do, let's see how the PT1 fleet will line up with Pro Tunnel 1 qualifying, presented by the Branson Convention and Visitors Bureau. Branson, you won't believe it until you do. ExploreBranson.com. When the green dropped in the first heat, pole sitter 34, Jeff Reno, and series points leader 35, Mike Clapadlo, led the fleet to the first pins. Reno emerged from the spray with the lead. Clapadlo, 55, John Eddy, and the rest of the fleet chased him down the backstretch. Past the midway point, Clapadlo was able to get around Reno for the lead. But after a multi-lap side-by-side battle, Reno was able to retake the lead. With a handful of laps remaining, the 35 fell silent on the backstretch, surrendering second to 55 John Eddy. But they call him the Jet for a reason, and Jeff Reno flew away, keeping Eddy to his rear and taking the win in the first PT1 heat. In the second Pro Tunnel 1 heat, Jim Robb had the Gulf Racing Fuels 13 on the pole and would lead the fleet in the opening laps. 55 John Eddy and 57 David McMurray would battle for second, with the double nickels grabbing the spot ahead of the Nashville Marine HEI-sponsored 57. Eddy wasn't going to settle for second in this one, and he powered the Nashville Marine Big Cedar Lodge 55 past Robb for the lead as they went into turn 3. A few laps later, Jeff Reno used the outside line in turn 3 to get the Klockner Metals 34 past Jim Robb to take second. But this one belonged to John Eddy, and the 55 crossed the Big Cedar Lodge finish line, grabbing the Heat 2 victory. In the third and final heat, Jim Robb grabbed the lead early, putting the Gulf Racing Fuels 13 into P1. John Eddy was second, but Jeff Reno was a man on a mission. He tasted victory in Heat 1 and wanted it again. A few laps in, the 34 used the inside line, and Reno powered by Eddy on the backstretch. 2 laps later, both Reno and Eddy had caught up with the leader, Jim Robb, but the 13 was slow on the backstretch, allowing both the 55 and 34 to cruise by and fight for the lead. Soon, Robb caught up with Reno and got the 13 back into second. Seconds later, Robb moved to the inside of Eddy and grabbed the lead back from the Big Cedar Lodge Nashville Marine 55. Then Reno flew up again, and the revolving door for the lead continued to spin to the delight of the crowd at Branson Landing. Eventually, it would come down to a late race pass by Jim Robb that would put the 13 into the lead for good, and he would cross the Big Cedar Lodge finish line, taking the win in Heat 3. With all points tabulated, here's how they'll line up for the Pro Tunnel 1 main event here in Branson. Jeff Reno had the best time in time trials. This, combined with his win in Heat 1, gave him pole position for the main event. Fans, don't move. We've got highlights of the Pro Tunnel 2 main event and so much more as Racer H2O's coverage of Powerboat Nationals racing in Branson continues right after this.
Racer H2O's coverage of Powerboat Nationals running of the 2021 Branson Grand Prix Series is brought to you by Branson Landing, where shopping, dining, and entertainment takes center stage. By the Branson Convention and Visitors Bureau. Branson, you won't believe it until you do. ExploreBranson.com. And by Towboat US. Towing you can trust. This segment of Racer H2O's coverage of the 2021 Branson Grand Prix Series is brought to you by Branson Landing, where shopping, dining, and entertainment takes center stage.
Fans, welcome back. Back to the racing at Branson Landing with Powerboat Nationals Pro Tunnel 2 feature race. A newcomer to Branson, Jose Mendana Jr., had the 27 on the pole and took off with the lead with 21 Austin Cheatham on his tail. While they moved off, teammate 66 Randy Parch and 67 Rick Sober fought for third, with Parch getting the spot. Another first-time racer in Branson, 54 Chris Swanson challenged Sober for fourth. But Swanson would also have to keep an eye out for the 12 of Rachel Clapadlo, who was looking to move up. A few laps later, Clapadlo slid to the inside of Swanson and got by the 54, putting her into the top 5. No one had an answer for the 27, and Tampa, Florida's Jose Mendana Jr. went on to win Powerboat Nationals Pro Tunnel 2 feature race in Branson. Josh Grisham is standing by with our PT2 race winner.
Taking the final for Pro Tunnel Series 2, Jose Mendana Jr., boat number 27. Jose, an excellent performance this weekend, buddy. You've got to be proud.
Yeah, that was good. It was a good weekend, good run. Flawless final there. It was a great racing with Austin all weekend. Some good back and forth racing. We started the weekend off trying to run actually my backup boat, my brother's boat. Got a big hole in testing Saturday morning. Pulled out all reliable, my main haul, and it ran as good as she could. But I'll be honest with you, and I'll say this to all the 45 drivers out there, this is a great race course. I mean, it's a little tight. You can pass, you can race cleanly, you can race safely. I mean, it's a beautiful area, beautiful race site. And I'm so glad we had us here. I'm glad I won this, and we will be back.
Mendana was joined by Austin Cheatham and Randy Parch on the PT2 podium. With his consistent finishes all season long, Austin Cheatham earned the 2021 Branson Grand Prix Series Pro Tunnel 2 Points Championship. Josh Grisham is standing by with our PT2 Series champ.
Series points champion Austin Cheatham in the Branson Landing Boat 21 here in Branson, Missouri. Austin Cheatham, I tell you what, sir, you had a great showing all weekend long right here in Branson, Missouri. You did incredible in the heats, and buddy, you had the expected rivalry I think we all expected to see between you and Jose Mendana Jr. Talk to us about your placing and finish here in the final.
Yeah, we ended up going back and forth. Jose got the first heat, and then the second heat I got the edge on him on the start and ended up winning that one. It came down to like 5/100ths or something of a second to break the tie to see who was the pole sitter, and he ended up getting it. But Jose's always fast. He's a gentleman on the course. You know, you can go into a corner with him, and he'll leave you a lane, and it's going to be fun and clean racing. You know, the Branson Landing sponsors the boat that I was driving, so you know, I had the town rooting for me, so it was good. That definitely gives you a boost of confidence, and you want to do well for them. So that's what I tried. And the biggest deal with me was just staying consistent and podium finishes here every time that I've been here. So I got lucky and walked away with the points championship. So that's awesome.
Here's one more look at the final points for the PT2 Series in Branson. Rick Sober, Randy Parch, Jose Mendana Jr., and Thomas Schlarb round out the top 5 2021 point getters for the Pro Tunnel 2 Series in Branson. Fans, don't move. The Pro Tunnel 1 fleet is on Lake Taneycomo. They race on Racer H2O coming up right after this.
This segment of Racer H2O's coverage of the 2021 Branson Grand Prix Series is brought to you by Towboat US, towing you can trust.
Race fans, welcome back to Branson. In addition to hosting Powerboat Nationals, Branson Landing was also a site of remembrance this weekend, as everyone took time to remember those lost in the September 11th attacks 20 years ago. The ceremony included music, prayer, and reflection as Branson paused its weekend of fun and took time to honor the fallen and to make sure the date is never forgotten. But now, race fans, it's time to get back to business. Buckle those chin straps because it's showtime in Branson. Powerboat Nationals Pro Tunnel 1 fleet making its way now onto the front stretch. Her pole sitter in the 34 Klockner Metals entry is Jeff Reno. Right next to him, John Eddy in the Big Cedar Lodge, Nashville Marine 55, Pat Whitcomb has the green flag in his hand as they approach the Big Cedar Lodge start-finish line. Green flags in the air, trim it up, full throttle. Here we go, Branson. They're racing on Lake Taneycomo. Side-by-side battle in that long straightaway down to the first pin. John Eddy trying to climb alongside of Jeff Reno as they go into turn 1. Reno lurches ahead. John Eddy now trying to play catch-up. Here comes Jim Robb on the inside. Jim Robb trying to pull up on the inside of John Eddy. John Eddy says not interested in a battle for second. He wants to battle for the lead as he moves away on the backstretch on Lake Taneycomo. John Eddy trying to catch up to Jeff Reno. Jeff Reno trying to check out early. John Eddy, a tight turn around those buoys as we watch Jeff Reno from Okeechobee, Florida, his first time racing here in Branson, did a fantastic job in qualifying, looking to take home the hardware in his first time racing here on Lake Taneycomo in front of the fans at Branson Landing. John Eddy in second, still looking to get his first feature race win in Powerboat Nationals competition. He's won some heat races, has yet to get on that top box in the feature race here in Branson. Back in third is Jim Robb. We're used to seeing him in that Titanic number 37 boat. He's racing the Baba Hull this weekend, the 13 Gulf Racing Fuels boat, doing a great job. He's been wrenching on that all weekend long to get it up to speed. And speaking of wrenching on a boat, our points leader, Mike LaPadlo, he's been working on his boat all weekend long, as well as his crew's been working on his daughter's boat. Talk about stress level max for the 35. Mike LaPadlo doing double duty this weekend as his driver in the 35 Walloon Central Marina boat, as well as the crew chief for the number 12 Rachel LaPadlo in the Pro Tunnel 2 ranks. LaPadlo's been fighting gremlins in both the 35 and 12 all weekend long. David McMurray in the HEI Nashville Marine sponsored 57 carrying the colors, saluting our first responders and our military members this weekend here in Branson. A special salute from HEI, Branson, and David McMurray, thanking all of our military and first responders. But that 57 boat having issues on Lake Taneycomo today. John Eddy, boy, his engine's flying, and he's flying up alongside of Jeff Reno, trying to chase down our leader, trying to get out to the outside line now. He wants to carry a little momentum through the turns, gets out into wake-free water, and man, he's picking up some speed as they head into turn one. Jeff Reno in a Clocker Metal sponsored 34. He's holding on to that inside line, fans. Look at those great turns, forcing John Eddy to go to the outside the long way around. Reno's been able to power away down the straightaways, but John Eddy is able to catch up to him as they go into the turns. And now we see some lap boats. This could get interesting, fans, as they go through turns 3 and 4 now. Eddy, again, being forced to the outside. He's going to have to contend with David McMurray in that HEI Nashville Marine sponsored 57. While they fight it out, we're going to step out to a break. More Pro Tunnel 1 racing from Branson on Racer H2O right after this.
This segment of Racer H2O's coverage of the 2021 Branson Grand Prix Series is brought to you by the Branson Convention and Visitors Bureau. Branson, you won't believe it until you do. ExploreBranson.com.
Race fans, welcome back to Lake Taneycomo here in Branson, Missouri, where we're putting you right on top of John Eddy as he fights for the lead here on Lake Taneycomo. Jeff Reno in the Klockner Metals 34 has occupied the top spot, and that lane on Lake Taneycomo so long in this race, every lap, I think Taney County here in Branson might charge him real estate tax. He's been out there so long. Jeff Reno from Okeechobee, Florida, earned pole position for this race. He's been out in front, and he's been holding on to that inside line as we now approach lap traffic once again. In second, the double nickels, John Eddy, still looking for his first win in Branson, driving the Big Cedar Lodge Nashville Marine sponsored 55. He has been chasing this 34 Klockner Metals boat all race long as he's got to squeeze around. Wow, got awfully close to some back markers there as the front runners now cross that Big Cedar Lodge start-finish line. 4 laps to go in his final event for the 2021 Branson Grand Prix Series. Here comes John Eddy on the outside, catching up to Jeff Reno. Side by side as they go through turns 1 and 2. Reno again hugging those buoys, going around the inside line. John Eddy trying to pull up alongside to go shoulder to shoulder on the backstretch. Jeff Reno says, I'm out of here. He's looking to cruise to a win, but John Eddy making it hard on the 34. Jeff Reno skipped to the outside just a little bit there. 3 to go as they cross that Big Cedar Lodge start-finish line. This is the first time we've seen the Okeechobee, Florida driver Jeff Reno here in Branson. He's a 35-year veteran of tunnel boat racing, and man, he has given everybody a class today. Every driver out here should have their sharpened pencils and notebooks out. We catch up with our series points leader, Mike LaPadlo, all the way in the rear of the field. LaPadlo having issues all weekend long with that 35 boat, but really all he has to do is finish this race. And talk about finishing the race, here comes John Eddy on the outside of Jeff Reno. They're going to come to the line. 2 to go in this race, and man, he's cranking it up. John Eddy saved the best for last, and here he comes trying to throw a lasso around that dragon on the side of the Klockner Metals 34, side by side into the turns. About a lap and a half to go here in the 2021 season of the Branson Grand Prix Series. And man, are they putting on a show. Jeff Reno on the inside, John Eddy on the outside. Once again, Reno pulls away with a lap boat coming up. Here we go, fans. through turns 3 and 4 again. Mike Lepadlo stuttering on the outside. He's going to force John Eddie on the inside. Eddie's going to thread the needle, and he does perfectly. John Eddie now, let's see if he can catch up to him. Final lap, white flag in the air. Last lap for 2021 in Powerboat Nationals in Branson, and man, are they putting on a show once again. The thousands of fans all up and down Lake Taneycomo here at Branson Landing are loving this show. Jeff Reno pulls away, looking to solidify his lead. Last 2 left-hand turns of the season. Reno now back on the throttle. They're celebrating in Branson. They're celebrating in Okeechobee. Jeff Reno crosses the Big Cedar Lodge start-finish line and wins the last round of Powerboat Nationals racing here in Branson. John Eddie's second. Jim Robb is third. Post-race show coming up on Racer H2O.
When in Branson, stay where the Powerboat Nationals action is. Stay at Hilton's of Branson. Shop, dine, play, and stay at Branson Landing and Hilton's of Branson.
Racer H2O's coverage of Powerboat Nationals running of the 2021 Branson Grand Prix Series was brought to you by the Branson Convention and Visitors Bureau. Branson, you won't believe it until you do. ExploreBranson.com.
Fans, welcome back to Branson Landing, where just moments ago, Jeff Reno, for the first time in 2021, got to do a victory lap in front of the fans here, and then he topped it off with a little bit of donut action on Lake Taneycomo. Great time had by all as we welcome you to the Branson Convention and Visitors Bureau post-race show, Branson, Missouri. You won't believe it until you do. Learn more at ExploreBranson.com. Josh Grisham has our race winner.
Jeff, I will say this without question, buddy. Throughout all the heats into the final match, you put on an absolute show. And, of course, for those that don't know, 3 decades behind your name, birthday coming up in November. This has got to be a great gift for you this weekend in Branson.
It's a great time here. First off, I want to thank God for letting me be here and do this, because it takes a lot of effort.
John Eddie, he was definitely giving you a run for your money, side by side at points during your race. Talk to me about the competition between you and number 55.
Yeah, John Eddie would really charge on me at the end of the straightaway. He had a lot of top end speed, and I could beat him through the turn barely and get away from him, and then he would catch me at the next end.
Jim Robb, who we're used to seeing in that Titanic Museum-sponsored 37, grabbed third in the Gulf Racing Fuels 13. David McMurray and Mike Lepadlo round out the field, but now Josh Grisham standing by with our runner-up.
Here in Branson, Missouri, with John Eddie, number 2 in the Pro Tunnel Series 1 final here in Branson. John, what a performance for you this weekend. You've got to be proud, especially in the heats. You were consistent. Big-time rivalry between you and Jeff Reno. Talk to me about your experience this weekend.
It was a good weekend here at Branson. A lot of turnout for the fans, and, hard racing. And anytime Jeff Reno shows up, you better have your A game.
And he certainly brought it. He was pushing you the whole way. This is a unique course down here as well. Lake Taneycomo is not that wide. You've got a lot of opportunity for speed in the straightaways. Talk to me about the conditions out there through the heats in your final.
Yeah, it's a couple of corners are tough. I like to lost the boat a couple of times. We got it up on its side, but was able to bring it back down and try to run Jeff down. But 34-year veteran, and he knows all the tricks. And most of them he taught me, so I can't pull them on him. So it's hard to beat him.
Let's take one more look at those Branson Grand Prix Series Championship points for the Pro Tunnel 1 racers. A lot tighter than what people thought. Just 14 points separated first through third. But now Josh Grisham is standing by with our series champion.
I've got to talk to you about this particular venue, Branson, Missouri, Lake Taneycomo. Obviously, everybody talks about it. There's not a lot of width out here. It's definitely unique in its own right. Presents its own challenges as well, from the wake to the reverse current as well. That's a lot to contend with. Did any of those conditions give you any trouble, and how do you prepare for that?
You just prepare for what the conditions are going to be. One time we had smooth water. Next we had the big current going through the one time. Then we had the big wind. The next time, it was smooth water one race, and it was rough water the next race. Tight corners, you got to turn real tight, and Jim Robb was really good at that, so he kind of gave me a run for my money there. Man, it's awesome. I don't know what to say. We had a great time this year. Next year it's even going to be bigger and better. My daughter will have more seat time in it, and I'm going to try to concentrate on her being a champion. That'd be ultimate cool to me. That'd be sweet.
I tell you what, there's going to be a rich history going down. Lots of marks to be made. Branson, Missouri, Pro Tunnel 1 Series champ, Mike Kapladlow right here in Branson, Missouri. I appreciate the time, buddy. I cannot wait to see you race again. I've become a fan. I can't wait for those appearances coming up next year. Congratulations on your appearances and your racing this weekend.
All right, thank you very much.
Well, fans, if you heard me say it once, you'll hear me say it a million times. We had an absolutely fantastic time here in Branson this weekend and all season long, and we can't wait to come back in 2022. Congratulations again to our Pro Tunnel 2 race winner, Jose Mendana Jr., and to our Pro Tunnel 2 Series champion, Austin Cheatham, to our Pro Tunnel 1 race winner, Jeff Reno, and to the 2021 Pro Tunnel 1 Series champion, Mike Kapladlow. For Josh Grisham and the entire Racer H2O crew, I'm Jared Romsberg. Thank you, Branson. We'll see you at racerh2o.com.